Hi, friends. This is Pastor Harley with the Broadway Church. I'm reading to you out of 1 Kings. We've been covering the story of Solomon in our reading through the Bible this year. 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 4 says, "For when Solomon was old, his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not wholly true to the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father." Now that verse comes following a list of all the wives and riches and stuff that Solomon was into, and then is followed by a list of the gods that Solomon turned his heart after, built temples to. How did someone who had sought God for wisdom, who had the wisdom to ask for wisdom, who had exercised a hand in seeing God's purposes accomplished in Israel, how could he fall so far? Well, the one Bible gives one explanation. He had got himself so emotionally involved, so wrapped up in, well, hundreds of wives. In other words, he was so much a king like all the other kings, which is what the Israelites asked for. In one way, that's what they got, so they could see the difference. We want a king like the other nations. Well, they weren't supposed to have a king like all the other nations, and the king was not supposed to get himself hundreds of wives. But though a king in their day, particularly one that couldn't, got extremely successful, would have an extreme amount of possessions, wives, riches. This was just not to be their way. And so Solomon is falls and falls far. It's a lesson to us as we kind of, move from Father's Day, where we celebrated fathers. Let me have a word to fathers, to men. Finish strong. Don't mess up at the end. When Solomon was old, his heart turned away. Oh no, let's not be your story. In fact, people are going to remember that part of your story if you pull one of those. Finish strong. Stay faithful to the end. And then you will see blessing. Amen.